Hey everybody, I wanted to give you a little bit of update on Halfbaked and something you need to look at when you're installing a transmission. When you're building a hot rod like this car here has the original firewall in it, and I just put new toe boards in the bottom, and I want you to see how I modify the firewall so that you get the bell housing in or the transmission in and out. That's pretty important in these cars, to be able to service them. That's the key. You're going to be at a race and you need to pull the bell housing to service the clutch and or swap a trans. Even at home, you need to be able to get to the bolts to get this stuff in and out. Most of these early cars are designed small engines and real small transmissions, so some of the times when you swap in a bigger engine and trans combo, you can't get to the bell housing bolts, and that's pretty important. So I want to show you this and then a few updates what's going on in the shop. Here goes nothing. Okay, she's up on the lift, the rear end's in. I bolted the wheels on it just to roll it back in the back room. I had to put it up on a lift to weld the bottom. I think I described that. And I made some changes inside too for trans clearance, because I got G-force transmissions and bell housings and shifters and all kinds of stuff from my buddy Matt Daddis. He called me and said, hey, I tore apart this super stocker and I got all these parts that I don't need, and I bought them. So instead of putting a power gliding in this thing for the 6th week, it's going to have a Doug Nash 4-speed in it. These are like 4+1 cases, but an NHRE super stock, you're not allowed to have the 5th gear, so they don't put it in, and that's what I'm running. This is just going to be a 4-speed trans. So told you about putting the toe boards in. There's this side here, and as you can see, like right there, this is step flanged, and I just spot weld these. The butt welding and everything is not necessary in this type of vehicle, in my opinion. I'll seam seal those edges, and it's more for function than anything else. So, but I got her all lapped up in there and build me a new throttle linkage bracket. The original one was plastic, so I had to make a steel one, but this side's all done. You can see I got that spot welded. I got a little bit of grinding to do and fix the spot where somebody beat on it with a sledgehammer to firewall. So let me get inside here and show you what's going on. First off, everybody makes mistakes. It's just how you take care of them. I had this tube originally coming all the way up to here, and then I didn't realize that it was in the way of my transmission mounts. So what I did is I bent another piece. I sleeved it in here with 7/8 058. This is 1" 058, and I just put a 50-degree bend in it and shortened it up to where I know it would clear. Then put my trans mounts in. This here will work for a power glide, and then this one here works for this Doug Nash tranny. So I can move the same cross member forwards and backwards and make it work with the different trannies. So I want options. But here's what I was talking about here. Bell housing clearance. This will have a removable transmission tunnel. So if you can see here, I don't have a ton of light. I cut this way back, and there'll be an aluminum trans tunnel that lays over on this. But what I did once I got them in, stuck the bell housing in, and then made sure I could get in there with a flex socket and an extension to get to all of those bolts to get this bell housing on enough. This side's a little tighter, but you can still get a socket and an extension in there to get that loose. Originally, this stuff was touching the bell housing, so I cut it back and then I just hammered and dollied until I liked what I was looking at. Beat it all out of the way, and now I'm ready to do the next steps, putting the floors in and everything else. This car here, like I say, replacement toe boards, I got them done, but from here it'll be 18 gauge sheet metal to this cross member, so we're not stomping the floors out of it, and then the back end will all be aluminum. So my next step here, I'll move this into the back room, mount the seats and all the other parts and pieces I need in here, then I can get ready for tin work. So that's what I'm looking at there. I notched my mid plate, so I got clutch clearance there. You can all see that. And then mid plate I've shown you previously. It's a block saver, but I welded ears on, so we have a mid plate mount there. So that all works pretty good. I mean, you can see from out here how that all worked out, and it worked out great. So shop updates. Jeff has been working feverishly on getting this stuff done, and it's turned out pretty nice. This is a lot of work. A lot of work. You weld it, and then you got to hammer and dolly, and then look for holes. And the bottoms still need to be done, but we're going to do that when it's on the lift, putting the wheel tubs in it. So I think there's a little bit of welding to do here, and then that'll be finished. And then at that point, I think we're ready for tin work. So getting close. The wheelies, man, I've been grinding on fiberglass for a week. This back corner didn't fit the car, so I pie sliced it, and I ground it all out, and I laid it up. I used long strand fiberglass first, then short strand to finish it. Then on the inside, I put like 4 layers of 4-ounce cloth in here just to finish all this stuff off. Now I have to trim the edges and set the margins, but then the pieces up here, the way I do these is we pop rivet these in where we want them, and then I lay them up with glass to help hold them in. Then you drill them rivets out completely. They have to come out, because if you don't, that stuff shows through the bodywork, and you definitely don't want that. So I got to trim this line off here to make it the same as the other side, and then a little TLC, and it'll be ready for the body, man. So the car itself, that's all I've been working on, is that. Everything's the same. Then I got the Camaro in the back room. I don't know if anybody's seen this one, but this is my Camaro. It's going to be for sale shortly. I got to put the engine, I've got a new 468 that I'm going to put in this. It had a 565 in it, but when I drained the oil in the fall, I had some stuff stuck to the drain plug that I didn't understand what it was, so it ain't going back in. But this car's a 3-year-old build. I built this, I got it from a friend of mine over near Toledo, Jerry Sidekick, Jerry Speed Shop, and heavily modified it. It's been a race car for a long time. It was originally a Project X car. Fiberglass front end, doors, different hood that had like a short cowl on it, but with a big block in it, it needed that taller scoop on it. Fiberglass deck lid, but it's heavily modified from its original iteration. So, but it's like a high-tech back half car, stock dash. I've changed a bunch of stuff. It's all chrome moly, 9-inch 40 spline stuff. The front end's been heavily modified. So yeah, she's been a good car, but it's just not doing it for me anymore. So I drilled a bunch of holes in the back of this for airflow for the radiators. Everybody saw in previous videos it's got the radiator in the rear, so that's done. Just about to the point to do tin work in this one and in the other car. So we're getting there. She's turning out good. We're cranking her out. So I just wanted to give everybody a heads up, see what's going on, and talk about, you know, bell housing and or transmission bolt clearance. So thanks for watching, guys. See ya.